it's indicated that you've had a massive detox.
Okay.
Massive. Your cellular energy production, your phase angle, improved over 5%.
Right.
Which basically means your body's functioning much better.
So
you're producing energy more.
5% stronger on the bike?
All right, so we're back in South Melbourne. I'm off to see Tim. He's the fasting expert, the practitioner that set me up on this 5-day cleanse, which I finished a day and a half ago. I'm currently in a reintroduction to food program, day 7, and I'm off to meet Tim to talk about the 5-day cleanse, the experience that I just had, all the weird symptoms that I felt. My Instagram followers will know I felt some pretty bizarre things like achy legs, sore lower back, cold and flu symptoms. So I want to ask him about why I felt that way. We're also going to do another bioimpedance test to find out what physiological changes have happened in my body since going on the 5-day fast. All right, so Tim, I want to talk to you about all my side effects. I want you to explain to me why I felt that way before we go through the bioimpedance test, the results that I've got over the last, 6 or 7 days? Well, when did we last do that? It was 2 weeks ago, was it?
We did it 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
A few days before you started.
Yeah, about 5 days before I started. Yeah.
And as long as you didn't do anything crazy, like you didn't go on a crazy monster carb loading fest before the fast.
No, I just kept it normal.
Yeah, okay. If you kept it normal, it's fine.
But before I go on the side effects, I gave you a message the day after, said, when can I have coffee? And you said another 7 days, and it's absolutely destroying me. Well, I'm feeling a little bit better now, but that text back from you saying no caffeine for another 7 days, why am I not allowed caffeine?
Well, because what we'd established initially when we in the first consult when we were chatting, looking at your day-to-day functioning, day-to-day energy levels, what you eat and all that sort of stuff, basically you were reliant a bit on coffee as a fix, an energy fix, and it's an artificial fix. So it stimulates the liver to produce more, to release more sugar into your bloodstream, via sort of a fix via the adrenals to stimulate the liver to release more sugar, and that's great in the short term, and in the long term it can drain you. It can be bad for your nervous system, bad for your adrenals, and so it can rob you of energy, amongst other things. So basically, when you go on, if you stay on caffeine, you're staying reliant on a chemical to stay fixed. And I basically have seen with clients and with myself and what have you, many times, the difference between real energy and stimulated energy. And if you clean your system out and your body works well, then it'll produce energy.
Could you drink a coffee and do a cleanse at the same time, or that wouldn't be?
You probably could.
Counterintuitive.
But it's like running a marathon and stopping at 40 k's.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like if you probably could, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as good.
Yeah.
And your system's not. You're not giving your system a complete rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that, and then it's just when in the end there, you said, "Can I have a coffee now?" And it's like, well, you're still sort of in that cycle, and then I think it was the next day, "Can I have black tea?" So I was like, no, the boy's looking for a fix. However he can get his fix. Yeah. And black tea's not as strong as coffee, but it's still caffeine. So it's just like, wait, because you're not doing an extended fast. You're doing a 5-day fast, and from our discussions, most of that time will be full-on detoxing. So I don't think you've even seen the fruits of this process. So I'd prefer you see, rather than getting a fix now from caffeine, I'd prefer you to sort of wean off it properly and then see the energy levels you can have without it.
Yeah.
And then I'm not reliant on it.
Yeah, okay. Fair call.
That's the reason.
Yeah, fair call.
Plus I'm a masochist and I just like seeing you suffer.
Thanks for that.
No.
Yeah. So I was a bit surprised about this 5 days.
Yeah.
The way my body reacted. I was anticipating from just watching a few videos and things that I've seen that I was going to start feeling really good on day 4 and 5, but it turns out that I felt like the first 2 days I was getting through coffee withdrawals, and then day 3 I went through into detoxing, and it was day 3, day 4, and even a bit of 5, and even a little bit into 6, where I just felt here are the symptoms, and I want you to understand why I felt this way. So I had achy, abs and lower back. I almost feel it internally. It was aching, like my organs were aching.
That was day 3, 4, I think you were saying.
Yeah, day 3, 4. Yeah, and even a little bit of 5. I had pretty much bad sleep the whole time. I woke up a number of times in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
Found it hard to get back to sleep, like around 3:30 a couple of times. Cold and flu-like symptoms, and I also had some light headaches as well throughout. So the 5 days was pretty hard. It wasn't like the first 2 days were hard and then the next 3 days were a bit easier. Like, it was really tough going. So why did I feel like that?
Well, the first couple of days with the caffeine withdrawal, that's the headaches and sort of you might feel a bit edgy, and that's definitely withdrawal from caffeine. So some of those symptoms could be that, but a lot of those symptoms you're talking about, in fact, all of them are classic detox response. So it's like your body's putting out the garbage. So cells are cleaning out, and, the liver's metabolizing more toxins because your body, you're not putting more toxins in, you're giving your digestive system a rest, and you're saving a fair bit of energy from digestion, so your body spends more energy on metabolism and what have you, and you're cleaning your system out, but it'll, in the process of, if it gets released out of cells or out of organs, then it'll be before it gets released out of your body, it'll flow around your blood system. So what you've gone through, because you've done a 5-day fast, you've gone through, in the times I've done fast, the first 5 days were the toughest days. So you've gone through the big detox. Right. That's the big cleanse.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm not surprised that's what you felt.
Right.
I've done it a couple of times where I fasted with 2 or 3 other people at the same time, and we compared symptoms and we monitored ourselves with the bioimpedance along the way, and we're all different.
Yeah.
Like, one person felt amazing straight away, and we were dirty at her.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt a bit ordinary early, and then felt great later on.
Right.
And now the guy was a bit similar to me, although he didn't feel as great later on. So
the one that I found most strange was I could actually feel my internal organs, like my kidneys, like achy. Like I've never experienced that in my life, and that was it was almost like this connecting experience with my body, because it was like doing things that I've never done before, because it was ridding myself of that. Why would I get the aching internally?
It's going to be work. Things like your kidneys, your liver, your gallbladder, and they're going to work harder. Okay. Even your spleen to a degree, they're going to work harder because you're detoxing and cleansing. And it's quite a full-on process. And so I remember the first question I asked you is, how much water are you drinking? Yeah, and you said, apart from the odd herbal tea and the juices, you're not having much, which actually surprised me. Because, I would think you'd need 1 litre to 1.5 litres on top of those. Yeah. And so if you're not drinking a lot of water, your body's got to flush them out, the toxins out somehow. We'll go into this further when we talk about what we found from the bioimpedance test results, because that relates a bit to this.
Well, do you want to talk about them now?
Yeah.
I found some of them super interesting.
Well, rather than bringing it up on the screen and going into detail, you lost I've found, for example, when I've done fast in the past, I lost about similar amounts of fat, muscle and water, whereas you lost about,
6 kilos all up?
5.8, yeah. 5.8. You lost 1.2 kilos of fat, roughly 1.2, 2.1 or so of muscle. So that's more muscle than fat, but you didn't have a lot of fat to lose at the start, whereas I put on muscle easy, which also means I put on fat easy. So I've always carried a little. Even when I was training full time, I always carried a little bit.
You said that as well, because I was burning more muscle than fat might have actually been making you feel bad as well. But why is that?
Yeah, well, because if you're burning a lot of muscle, so when your body breaks, because you're on a fast, you've got very, very little carbohydrate coming in. Yes, you're having a couple of juices, but it's not a lot. Yeah. So your body will have to find energy stores from its own internal stores. So it will start converting muscle and fat back to carbohydrate for energy, called gluconeogenesis, just for a fancy word for you. And when you convert fat back to carbohydrate, the byproduct is a ketone. Yep. So ketosis. Yep. When you convert muscle back to carbohydrate, the byproduct is ammonia.
Yeah, right.
And ammonia, you smell floor cleaning product.
Can you taste that?
Yeah, can often equate to.
Right, because I reckon I had at times, my wife was with me to sense check me and say, your breath stinks, but I had this weird taste in my mouth. Yeah.
So you're burning, well, not double, but close to double the amount of muscle than you burn fat. Yeah. So you were beyond ketosis. You were burning, and therefore you've got this. You could have the ammonia circulating around your system as well.
Yeah, okay.
It's not at the level where it's extremely bad for you. In your situation, that's why we supervise you on a fast. We want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes, you were burning. It wasn't dangerous, but you know, it's something we monitor over time. What are you burning? Muscle, fat, etc. And that can explain for some of those yucky feelings.
Yeah, interesting. So what
Plus also then you're flushing, as I mentioned, you're also flushing toxins out of cells, out of organs, and they may be then travelling around your system, and you're not going to feel good from that either.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
And it doesn't mean to say everyone who does a fast is going to get this.
Yeah.
But you're just like me, that in the first, like when I've done the 2 weekers, the first 5 days were the hardest days for me.
Yeah.
And so you've done a 5-day fast, you've just done the hard yards.
Yeah.
But what we also found from that test, so that's the body composition changes. Your abdomen drops 7 centimetres, which is, what's that, 3 inches?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my pants are falling off me. Actually.
Yeah. But in terms of water loss, you lost 3.25 kilos of water total. And we want to have more water inside the cells than outside the cells. I think it's roughly 60-40 inside compared to outside. And so if water gets drawn from the inside of the cells to the outside of the cells, it means there's something going on. And normally that will be some sort of chemical reaction that water's drawn to, and that will be normally toxicity or inflammation or infection. And in your case, you lost most of that 3.2 litres of water was extracellular water. So your body's basically, you've lost, when you're losing that much extracellular water, that's an indication you're flushing toxicity.
Right.
But so you're losing
a good sign.
toxins. Yeah, it's a great sign.
Right.
So when I found in that phase when people do a fast or they do a detox program, and when their extracellular water levels drop, I've generally found that's the time when they start to feel really good. When that drops, and then it starts to plateau. We don't know that with you at this stage, but I would expect you'll start to feel pretty good within the next day or so.
Well,
you've already said, you've already started to perk up now.
Yeah.
And the first day after the fast is not really, you're not going out and having lots of food. It's pretty basic. It's broth without the veggies.
Like 4 big glasses of water with a little bit of stuff in it. To be honest, it didn't.
So it's pretty much still fasting.
It is. Yeah, it felt like it.
Yeah, but we just take it really slowly, reintroducing you to food. So essentially, it's indicated that you've had a massive detox.
Okay.
Massive. And what that also showed was that we look at a thing called phase angle, which looks at the ability of the body to hold on to the charge, because there's a difference in charge from the inside to the outside of a cell. If my cells are really healthy and round and robust, like grapes, they'll hold on to the charge better. Right. And therefore they'll do their job better. In other words, they'll produce energy better, and they'll do whatever their job is. So a cell in your brain will do what brain cells do better, etc., etc. So your cellular energy production, your phase angle, improved over 5%.
Right.
Which basically means your body's functioning much better.
So
you're producing energy more.
5% stronger on the bike?
Yeah, it's nice. It would be nice to say that, but I don't have a direct correlate between. I don't have a longitudinal study that's done a comparison of improving phase angle and performance on a bike. So, can I say that definitively? No.
Bad to find out. Yeah.
But what we can say is that you're more likely to be producing energy more efficiently, and let's see. Let's see. Yes, you definitely are producing more energy more efficiently. There's less what we call fluid retention, less inflammation, so your body's cleaner or work better. Theoretically, from that, then you'll recover better between sessions because everything works better.
Yeah, okay.
Your cells are working better. Your body's cleaner in general. I guess it goes back to that using the right fuel and giving your car a good clean service and tune, and it'll just function better.